get your students writing, and I guess it's technically get your students typing because it's all computer, but it's just like how audiobooks still count as reading books, so we're going to go along with it. I have the bit.ly in the bottom right corner of each of my slides, so if you want to join, just make sure that you put KAST in all caps and then 3-12. So, a little bit about me. My name is Erica Lawless. I am an EdTech ambassador for Warren County Public Schools. What that means is I was selected to represent my school, and different teachers at different schools in my district all come together and learn about new EdTech tools, technology, other opportunities, and then we go back to our schools and be a resource for our staff. This kind of helps bridge the gap between our technology department and our large district and our schools so that people have resources and learn new things. I am a high school Spanish teacher, so I do have my students writing, but just in another language, but a lot of the things still apply. And I have a master's in libraries, informatics, technology, and education from WKU, go Tops. And this is my 6th year of teaching, but it's my first time at KAST, so I'm really excited to be here and get to learn from everybody. I've had really awesome sessions leading up to today, so it's been great. I saw this reel on Instagram and it was too real, and so I had to share. But it's point of view, teachers in 2025 trying to get students to do anything without using ChatGPT. I gotta let it restart before you hear it. Don't ruin it. Okay, here we go.
In a paragraph, using full sentences, we can't do that. In 5 sentences,
Oh, maybe you had that experience. It's always whatever number I say they want to do one less, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But so hope now that from the laughs that know that it's familiar, but I wanted to show you that it's not. Students can be writing, but there doesn't require a lot of extra grading for you with the 3 sites that I'm going to show you today. And maybe they're familiar. I'm not going to claim to be like all knowing of all of these, or you might have heard them in other sessions, but my objective is to show you Pear Deck, Short Answer, and Snorkel, and then how you can use those in general, and then how you can use them specifically for writing in your classes. How many people in here teach like a writing class or ELA or anything like that? Awesome. So first I'm going to show you Pear Deck. Oh, and then I put that there so I remembered. And then I'm also going to show you how to maximize the free version of each of these. So if you don't have premium, there's still ways that you can get a lot of it out of it by doing it free. So the first one is Pear Deck. Raise your hand if you've used Pear Deck before in your class. Yeah, it's been around a while. It's great. My school used to have the premium, and then there wasn't enough usage, so it went away, but I was able to play around and see what I can still do with the free version and show you today. So 3 things that I love about Pear Deck: you can give instant feedback on students' writing by pulling it up, and we're gonna pilot each of these today, so you're gonna see student version, teacher version, how easy it is to make one for each. I love it because you can formatively assess understanding on the spot. You can pull up all of your students' responses and see, okay, a lot of people have said this, why is this true, or how can we add this, what are we missing in this sentence? And then there are 1,000 ready-made lessons on their little site that are for you, called the Content Orchard, which we'll get to. But first, so I made like a very incomplete slideshow just to show you how easy it is to make a Pear Deck, and I borrowed some of these from their slides as well. So if you can add in your Google Slides the extension for Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on, if that's something you can quickly do, you can, or just watch. So once I click open Pear Deck add-on, on the right side it's going to pop up, and there will be all of my ways to make my slides interactive. And so I made an example yesterday, and then I posted it on the Content Orchard. So I just said, create a slideshow about how to defend claims with evidence, and it came up with this slideshow 12, way more than that. 26 slides that are interactive that I didn't have to do any thinking. Obviously edit and go through, but I just wanted to see what it could make with little prompting, and it made that in about 3 minutes inside here. So the big thing with Pear Deck, and we're gonna start this lesson, but I'm gonna come up with a couple more options. You can choose a lot of, let's do an ELA prompt. From the slide library, so say it's during the lesson, or we'll do an end of lesson reflection ticket. If you just click it, it'll insert your slide automatically. And then you have students write your response there. I'm going to show you what it'll look like once we go live, but there's drawing features, there's dragging features. You can include audio that they listen to. The audio is premium, but if you find one that already has audio in the library, you can get around that. Drawing, dragging, these are two that I use for my class, so I added those in there for fun. But now I'm gonna launch it, and y'all are gonna join to see the student version. So for the free, I like to do in class and do practice mode and instructor paced. When you have only the free version, the student paced activity is not really gonna serve you as well, because part of the premium is going back and seeing answers, and if they're doing it on their own pace, you can't see who's answering what later. So I always do instructor paced and practice. So now on your device, go ahead and go to joinpd.com in a separate tab and enter QAZKWB. So the teacher dashboard of what I was trying to show, for the free version, you can't see a lot of the things. So that's one of the downfalls of the free, but we'll be able to see a lot of what we can. Show controls, okay. If you need the code, it's up in the top. I'm gonna move on. So joinpd.com, and then it's in the top right corner. So all I did was click the present lesson, and now I can have students write. Go ahead and write what you ate for breakfast this morning on this one. A feature, if you're practicing students writing on a time limit, you can lock the screen. So I'm gonna set 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, they cannot edit. So what I usually use the lock feature if I'm about to show answers on the screen, so that students aren't editing and changing to something else someone else wrote. And using it as a time of like, this isn't a gotcha, we're just trying to see what everyone did. And I don't want you to edit your answers, but then we can edit after we talk them through. So that way they're up looking at the screen and not just trying to change theirs before. And sometimes you can get inappropriate responses too if you let them just type and they have access to the board. So screens are locked. Now I have all of these answers. Mountain Dew for breakfast. Breakfast of champions. Okay, so if what I talked about earlier, providing feedback in real time, this is where I would go through and highlight, okay, so this person said chocolate. If we're trying to express our thoughts, third grade, I don't know. If we're trying to express our thoughts in complete sentences, how can we make this a full sentence? I ate chocolate for breakfast. Or you can catch punctuation. But easy, write your response. Choose an option. I don't even know what the options are.
You can see somewhat, right? On your end?
No. With the free, we'll do open dashboard, a new window. See, I used to be able to when I had the premium. So that's the only downfall is you don't know who wrote what. But if you have GoGuardian in place, then you could also see it that way. And you could pull that in on a separate screen or a separate tab in case they write something inappropriate or you want to go back to it later. But if it was a learning tool and you wanted everyone to make their corrections, you could then unlock the last slide and say, okay, if you had one of the ones that wasn't a complete sentence, now show me that. Then you can do things like this with Pear Deck, which is great. I'm just showing you all the features as we go. This is something you could do at the start of class or at the end. You can enter numbers. Let's do a drag one. Let me get the fun one with the map. Okay, let's see if you can locate 3 Spanish-speaking countries on the map. I'm gonna set the timer for 30 seconds too. And I'm thinking about this with writing too. You could have them drag the icon over if you're doing parts of a sentence, or identify the subject, identify the verb. You can change the color of each icon. So you can say identify the subject in blue, verb in green, the object in red.
Same back out. Kind of here. Just click again.
It only lets you click one
And then
for everybody? Which one?
No, there's objects scattered across the head.
Oh, because it locked maybe?
Yeah, mine's frozen.
What it was,
Let me unlock.
down at the bottom it said student drag the icons. Those wasn't the ones that you drug. It was up at the top.
Top
under the
right.
countries.
Mhm.
I see it. Yeah, the little icon, not the icons down at the bottom, the ones that are like hanging out all over. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, let's see our responses. And I didn't lock it so you can see them moving in real time too. All right, y'all know your stuff. Awesome. So then we have, this was one that had audio included, so then you could have the audio embedded. I just pulled this one from the slides to remind y'all you could. Draw your energy level at this point in KAST. How full or how empty is your battery right now? Same thing, they could underline. You could have a sentence, they could underline parts of it. You could have them find the errors. I do that with Spanish class a lot. Make a paragraph with a lot of common errors that they use, and they have to find them. Okay. For drawing, it shows it each individual one. All right. Oh no, below 0. Awesome. Okay, let's test your Spanish skills. Where is la falda?
I used to speak really good Spanish. Not 20 years ago. Giant.
So if you have a vocabulary list, you could do this as a start of the lesson and then have them turn it into writing later. This is how I start mine with clothing. I introduce the clothing items, then they have to start describing what people are wearing in the same Pear Deck. Ooh! Okay, I'm gonna say the answer and then you're gonna drag your star to the right one. La falda is the skirt.
Yes.
And now everybody's so that's why you wanna lock it sometimes, but I wanted you to see that. Okay, so that's Pear Deck. And then free version, you end it and that's done. So it really is only valuable in the free version when you do it live and you can talk about the in-person feedback with the people in the room. It's not something in the free version that you can replicate assigned wise, at least.
Can you not, you used to be able to like
do that for anymore?
That's a great question. I never looked at it the second time, so I never did. I always just used it for that. We can launch one more and see.
You can go. Don't waste
Okay.
time on me.
All right.
I'll
No worries. Okay, so that's Pear Deck, and like I said, how to keep using it for free. Use the add-on and add the interactive features, even though it says they're premium. It still let me add them yesterday and today. I think it just doesn't let you use the dashboard or the certain features afterwards, but I was able to do dragging as a premium feature. I was able to add those for y'all. Multiple choice was premium. I was able to use that. And then really cherry pick from the content orchard. If you click on the link in the slides, it takes you to their whole library. So there is where you can find your subject, you can find your grade. So let's do English Language Arts. And then you can see kind of all these options. You can open one and launch it. Or you can go in and, like I did, copy one slide of the slides and put it in yours. So no need to create from scratch with Pear Deck, and sometimes you can go through a whole slideshow. Not every slide has to be interactive, but
In a paragraph.
write a paragraph. And then that's how you can use it for free. The next one is short answer. Raise your hand if you've heard of short answer before. Okay, a few people. Cool. I get to show you something new. So, short answer is great for formative assessment. You can engage students in conversation about their writing. To me, it feels like Pear Deck, but just a little step more in the reflection piece. There are accountability pieces in there that you'll see when we launch it. And then students assess and self-reflect. So, I'm gonna go ahead and launch an activity and then we'll create one after, but we're gonna do Battle Royale. So I just clicked launch on one that I've already made and now I'm clicking Battle Royale. We're gonna make this a timed activity. You can turn off allow copy paste. And now you're gonna go to app.myshortanswer.com/join or use the QR code. You could also post the link in Google Classroom beforehand if that's easier for your students. I'm gonna go ahead and hit begin writing and then you should be able to still join or you can just watch. I'm just gonna do a 3-minute timer. Okay. So the question is, and you don't really know much about this resource, so how would you use this resource? How could you use this website in your classroom to engage your students in self-assessment? Or you could answer the question, how do you currently self-assess your students on their writing? Okay, how do you currently self-assess your students on their writing? Typically, I don't put the timer on until they've been like actively writing, and then I see it's time to kind of wind down and let a few people in. But if you're practicing time writing for state assessment or anything, you can go from there. Up in the top right corner, as people submit, it tells me what percentage of students are complete. After you complete, did it take you through some confidence questions? So it asks you, how did you feel about it? I like the ability to not show names. It can toggle on or off. So for the battle royale, it's really important because then they'll be competing and you don't want them to pick their friend's answer or not pick someone's answer because they know who it is. So not showing names is a nice feature. And the word count is great too if you focus on them expressing themselves in a certain amount of words.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, 40 seconds.
And we don't know who's doing that.
Right. Sometimes I'll look when I'm not casting, or I'll turn my screen blank and then I'll see who it is once we get to at the end it'll show you who everyone is ranked. We'll see it all the way from start to finish.
But like, we don't know.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's gonna auto submit for you.
This is good.
Okay. It's time for the knockout round. You're gonna have, I'm gonna turn the music off so I can talk. You're gonna have a few different responses and you're going to choose which ones you think are better. So I picked before this the criteria having strong evidence and reasoning, strong explanation of content, and clear relevance. So based on those 3 pieces of criteria, choose your best. It'll give you a few to vote on. And if you're really stuck between 2, just pick one. It's okay.
Not advancement. You ever had it not advance someone or have someone get stuck on there?
When it, like, did it auto submit for you?
No, I clicked submit and it said submitted.
You never voted on anybody's?
No votes. Has that ever happened?
Not to me, no.
It could be a Wi-Fi thing.
We'll see if it lets you get back in on this.
Oh, there we go. I'm in.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. So now we're down to 4 responses. Alright, I'm gonna start the championship. And so you can offer to discuss the 2 responses before the championship so that they don't, this is what happens in my class when they're writing in Spanish, they just pick the one that's longer and they don't actually read it. So you could pull them both up, yes, discuss as a class, and then talk about it, and then say, okay, then you can vote on who it is.
Championship.
And they're always curious about that at this point, so I do a little showing. A little peek. So good job, Mikey. Yeah. And then what I love afterwards is the reflection. So then they have to answer what makes the champion's response strong. So if that was theirs or if that was someone else's in the room, then they have to do that. Is that popping up on your screen now? Perfect. So if you were doing something where they had to add evidence or back up their opinions, persuasive writing, then the reflection could say the champion's response was strong because XYZ. And then the confidence, I really like seeing the confidence level. So pre-activity to post-activity, how they feel their writing response was after seeing other people's. You'll find that the perfectionists who maybe didn't win will make their confidence will go down even though they had a great response. But some kids who are a little unaware, just kind of sitting and existing in our classrooms, are like, oh, other people in this class can write like that? Okay, I'll step it up. So let me change that in the direction for next time. They were overconfident and then they had a little reality check. And then it gives them options of how they can improve their understanding. So that's what Battle Royale under short answer is. So there's student view. And I love that it shows too at the end how many words the class wrote. You can make it a competition between your classes if you have multiple. Now I'm gonna start another activity. Part of the free version is you can only save 5 activities. And so I have 3, I had 4, and then I went and deleted one before just to see what would happen. So here under results is where I've launched all of these. So you can see like the number of students I've had, what time for multiple classes. I have the same one for multiple as I teach them. But then I had another one in my activities that I deleted before this, and so the reports were gone as well. So because it's free, you really cannot go back and look at it. So it's another live and in-person thing. Unless you wanted students to save their responses, like they could copy and paste their answers into somewhere and you can save them that way, or you can view them. So if I wanted to look at what you all just did, I can view it right now because I only have 3 out of 5, but I can't export. That used to be free and it just changed to premium now. And so the class confidence was 3.19 out of 5. I can see everyone's response. I can hide the names again. I can see everyone's response, the reflection, the confidence. So then that just kind of helps me move on to my next thing, use that information quickly, and then move on to the next thing because I'm a busy teacher, you know? So here's where you go to create. And I had this idea that I don't teach 11th grade, but I have 11th graders in my class, and so when KSA comes, they're writing the on-demand writing. So I went ahead and I found last year's released on-demand writing prompt. And then it's a long PDF of 48 pages. I put it into Gemini and I said, create a writing prompt using this PDF. And we've got some prompts that we're gonna use, but if you've never used ilovepdf.com, this is a great thing because I don't want all 48 pages. And on my short answer, I can add the file. I'm not going to add the 48-page file, but I'm going to add the one with the reading passages. So I'm going to split the PDF. And I'm going to take the 48-page one. And I really only need pages 2 through 9. And I want them all in one PDF. So now I have it with all of the prompts. So they could do like mock KSA on-demand writing with short answer. You can put this, so now I have that as a file. I'm gonna take my prompt from Gemini. this one. Normally, obviously, check your stuff before, but I'm just trying to show you the ease of this. So if I really only wanted to do the CDC passage, I could just put that one PDF in it. But I'm going to add my file. You can add 2 files. It can be an image, PNG, web page, or PDF. And then the scaffolds are premium, so you can't use those. You can pick 3 feedback criteria on the free version. So say I want engaging word choice, unique voice, and creative. Next. This is kind of what it'll look like. Review and add anything, change anything, create and exit. Now it's ready to launch like the one we just did. And we just played Battle Royale, but the other free versions that are games is Parrot, where you have everybody write, but instead of Battle Royale where you're voting, you decide which 2 responses you want to share. So as they're writing, you pick 2. You put those 2 up, and then they're choosing which one would I score, which student would get proficient, which would get distinguished based on this rubric. All in is where they're comparing at random, and everyone gets feedback. So every student is giving other students feedback. So that's a great self-reflection tool as well. So that's short answer. Hopefully you like it. It's really, really awesome. And then ways to keep it free. I would suggest storing all of your prompts in any like files outside of the site, whether that's in a Google Drive folder, all in one doc. It doesn't feel like it's helpful, but because you can only have 5 activities at a time, you want to go ahead and lesson plan for more, then you can do that. You can have students save the results, or you can take a snapshot of it, but once you delete that assignment, you delete the reports. And then just use the free games and avoid premium features. For this one, it was really easy. You still get a really quality lesson out of it without using any of the premium features.
Have you ever had any issues with students debating or arguing with you about their grade in something as a result of this, or how strictly do you use this for grading?
I usually only use it for like participation grade. Like I wouldn't want to like show, especially if they knew whose it was, and then put a grade in, but you could do something where after the self-assessment, what would you score yourself, and then the teacher agree. I've had no arguments, but they do argue over who should be the champion when you do that one, so. And then the last tool I'm gonna show you all is Snorkel. Raise your hand if you've heard of Snorkel. I know Leslie had a session on it this morning. Snorkel is amazing. It is a multimodal AI tool for the classroom, has standard aligned activities. You can get instant AI feedback for improvement and reflection, and there are really great accessibility features in it too. I'm gonna launch a Snorkel for you all. You wanna do some math, or I guess we can stay on writing. I like showing all of the features even though I'm not there. So you can join my class. Join.snorkel.app. And while you're joining, Snorkel has multiple options of ways that students can express their work. So obviously for writing, you can do the writing. But for accessibility, if you have students who can express their answers spoken better, or they want to write things out, you can have that feature as well. I like to use it in Spanish class for obviously speaking prompts where they can talk to it and then get feedback back on their speaking, but then also writing and typing out, and then it's great. It has multiple languages. I want to say 45 languages that it can translate to, and I can only speak for the Spanish version of it, but it's very accurate in the Spanish one as well. So when they're writing, it can say, oh, you forgot an accent mark here. we'll do who versus whom for fun. Okay, so I've assigned all of these to you. So you're in the class, so you can see the 4 that I've assigned, but to join the who versus whom, go ahead and enter this one. And the who versus whom is just the text, so it's just writing, so you type. Kind of like short answer, kind of like Pear Deck. Teacher view is what you can see on my screen. So all the students, the green means they're on it right now, active. I can see, so I could go in and walk to that student's desk and help them. I wouldn't be projecting this in class, but I could go and walk and be like, hey, catch them before they submit. I assigned a writing snorkel today for students who were with my sub, and so one great thing about it, if someone wants to copy and paste something, copy and paste like your whole answer, and I want to show you what it looks like when a student copy and pastes. I saw a student who had copy and pasted a whole paragraph, and I knew it wasn't his work, so I messaged him. I said, I know this isn't your work, please do it again. And so then I had set a limit on this one for 3 attempts. I was able to, in the moment, click edit, change it, and make it 5 attempts so that he could go back in on his, because he had used his 3 attempts to copy and paste all 3, and it still wasn't giving him a 4 out of 4. So he's like, let me just paste it one more time. Let me see if it gets a 4 out of 4 this time. Let me try again. Didn't change anything on 3 responses. So I was like, okay, let me change it to 5. Edit in class, in real time, he was able to add it, and I got
Oh, I feel that.
the correct answer after.
I feel that.
Once students are writing, you can see it kind of starts sorting them by correct, incorrect, not evaluated. It's the ones not evaluated are loading, and then everyone who's still working down below. And then let's look at what the student sees. You can see it from your screen, but good job, Ian, you got a 4 out of 4. Yeah. And then Snorkel AI on the right is what tells you kind of everything everything that you did correctly. Students can write the feedback. You can type a comment on the response as well and give some more feedback to your students. And then, so if it's 2 out of 4, that's okay. And what I learned this today actually in Leslie's session, that if you don't agree with the score that I gave, you can change it. So if it's like a brand new concept and you want students to know, I would still accept that. Not fair. It's not fair. It's strong. It's a strong response. And then you can set the amount, you can set how much. Okay, thanks Nikki. So Nikki here, it says 66% pasted, and then I can see exactly what she pasted. It's highlighted. So that's how I knew that student today did not use his own work. Since a lot of you know Snorkel, do you want me to show you like the speaking side of it, or do you already feel good about that and use that? I'm going to show this awesome lesson by another EdTech ambassador, Nikki. She made this one today, and she has different parts of the session. So she has different sources, instructions, the prompt, and the great thing when you create it from scratch, that in Snorkel it'll give you suggestions for criteria, and then you can edit before you ever assign it to students. And then the library is another amazing thing based on your school. So let's go English language development for our EL learners. Let's do middle school writing. Describe a picture. So trying this as a student, this is what it would look like. The prompt over there, I can have it read it to me.
Imagine that you and a partner are going to describe a picture. Your partner has started writing a paragraph about the picture.
And then students, when they join Snorkel, set their default language. So for English learners as well, if you want them to have the instructions in their home language, that can be done. And then they can write in English if that's what you're assessing, or if you have an English learner in your class and you just want to show that they understand it and not that they're able to write it in English yet, they can write it in their language and it will translate to English as well. If you like it, you can just add it to your library and assign. Snorkel Free only allows, I want to say, 20 activities, but they're a really awesome company. I was able to get premium just by talking with someone from their team. I got Snorkel certified, and then she gifted me premium because I was answering a lot of questions for her about how to use it at my school. So that's an option if you want to see if that's still around. And then you can try sample activities, create, find. Snorkel's amazing. I could go on and on, but I don't want to bore you all of that. How to keep Snorkel free. I would store your prompts. If you get to where you have more than 20, same thing, in some doc or folder outside of it so that you can have them and easily add them in. You can, oh, I didn't even show y'all insights. Okay. You can do a lot with assessment after. So here's our who versus whom. If you click insights up at the top after students have performed, it takes a minute, but it's gonna tell you kind of how your students did so that you don't have to sit and read each one and see out of 4 what it got, unless you really want to. But I'm all about saving time. While it loads, I might show y'all my freebie that I wasn't sure we would get to. Who's heard of Padlet Arcade? Okay, it's a brand new, but I thought, why not use it to generate writing prompts or whatever you want. Padlet used to be really stingy and you could only have 3 and nobody used it, so now they've come up with this free arcade where you can make games in under a minute, which is so good. Students could make these for each other and they could play each other's games if you wanted. So let's go with creative writing prompts. If I just want to get students writing for 7th grade. I'll do surprise me. See what we get. Okay, while that happens, Snorkel's back. Here we go. So it tells you who has a strong understanding And other things that are listed: forgot to fix sentence 4, errors in 4 and 5, confused on. So anything, it comes up with these insights for you, and you don't have to think about it. You just have to see what you need to go over again. So, okay, I need to show in sentence 3, I need to do more examples with who and whom for that. Okay, back to Padlet Arcade. So I just typed in creative writing prompts for 7th grade, and then all of these popped up. I'll do character creator cards. Why not? And what's great about this too is you can share a link with students, and they can play it. They don't have to sign in. There's no viewing of it, but it's just helpful for you. So if this is what I'm doing, I'm creating a story, and this is a personality trait of someone that I'm writing about. There has to be a secret. So I need to include in my story that they secretly write poetry and they're too scared to share it. All of these things. Now it's a game that I can play and share and post on Google Classroom. So if you do kind of like more free write opportunities, this is an option. If you do grammar, you could have grammar up there and they could sort with grammar. You could do who versus whom as sorting cards, all of those things. But are there any questions in our last 2 minutes together? Hopefully you walked away with something new. I think because not a lot of people knew short answer, maybe that's what your takeaway from today. I appreciate you all for listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.